I'm going to preview the Baylor versus Houston football game already because it's Thanksgiving week and I might as well get this out of the way, which will be played on Saturday, November 29th at 11 a.m. Central Time on TNT/ HBO Max. As of right now, Baylor's favored by 2.5. The over/under for the game is 61.5. And I apologize for looking down because I cannot memorize all this stuff. And both these teams are coming off losses. Obviously, Houston did actually lose to TCU at home last week, 17-14, while Baylor just got outscored in the second half pretty bad and lost 41-17 despite a 17-14 lead at halftime. So Houston's 8-3 overall, 5-3 in the Big 12, while Baylor's 5-6 overall, 3-5 in the Big 12. This is obviously a huge game for Baylor to make it in order to make it a bowl game. I will say though, Houston might not be as good as their record shows. They barely beat UCF on the road, and we know how Baylor destroyed UCF. Granted, I know that's at home. Houston even lost to West Virginia at home by 10 points. They barely beat Oregon State earlier in the year, and that was in overtime, 27-24 as a win. So they could very well be 7-5 right now, and right at 500 for the conference. So I'm just saying, we'll just wait and see about the injuries and all this for both of these teams, and we already know Dave Aranda is probably going to be back next year. It's only because of the mess with the AD situation. It's hard to hire an AD and make a rush decision really quick to get a new head coach. So that's probably the only reason why. So what are some, obviously I'm going to go over offense, defense, statistically, then go over particular players. Then I'll go over special teams. Now, offensively, they are improved from a year ago, but they can't get any worse than they did. I mean, 28.1 points per game this year. They had 226 first downs, 56 tackles for loss allowed, 18 sacks, 9 interceptions, 4 fumbles, 38 pass breakups, 30 quarterback hurries. They average 172 rushing yards per game. That could be a problem for Baylor, and 216.5 passing yards per game. They have allowed a block kick this year. Time possession, 31 minutes, 22 seconds. 68 for 166 on third down, and 13 for 24 on fourth down. They run like a spread offense. They're too deep on the offensive line. This range of 10.6 pounds. So the starting quarterback is obviously better than last year's. And the guy starting this year is Connor Wegman from Texas A&M. If you don't know the name already, number 1, 6'3", 210-pound quarterback. That's a junior. 183 completions out of 288 attempts for 2,274 yards with 20 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. He does have 136 rushing attempts for 523 yards with 9 touchdowns. Now, the best running back on the team is Dean Connors, number 44, 206-pound running back. That is a senior. 170 rushing attempts for 800 yards with 4 touchdowns, 28 receptions for 220 yards with 3 touchdowns. And I might as well go over 2 more other running backs they're probably going to use in the game is DJ Butler, number 25, 6 foot, 190-pound run back. That's a sophomore. Just 50 rushing attempts this year for 227 yards and 6 receptions for 39 yards. And the other one, Stacy Sneed, number 21, 5 foot 11 inch, 185-pound running back. That is a senior. 35 rushing attempts for 127 yards. And 5 receptions for 29 yards. Now, it's obvious on the top 2 guys in terms of pass catching. I mean, both of them have above 550 yards receiving all year. The first one is Amari Thomas, number 0, 6 foot, 205-pound wide receiver. That's a junior. 50 receptions for 809 yards with 9 touchdowns and 4 rushing attempts for 11 yards. And his Tanner Koziol, number 9, 6 foot 7 inch, 240-pound tight end. That's a senior. 58 receptions for 592 yards with 5 touchdowns. I already know they have a guy out due to injury already. The other guy that's pretty much their offense in terms of receiving, because from there it's like Kobe Young, number 18, 6 foot, 108-pound wide receiver. That's a freshman. 10 receptions for 159 yards. And 1 rushing attempt for 8 yards is Harvey Broussard III, number 3, 6'3", 185-pound wide receiver. That's a junior. 8 receptions for 114 yards with 1 touchdown. Might as well just go over Jacquise Martin, number 80, 5'10", 180-pound wide receiver. That's a freshman. That's really all the guys you need to know in terms of the pass receiving game. Now, defensively, they're good, but not as good as last year. They allow 21.6 points per game, 193 first downs allowed. They allowed 135.3 rushing yards per game, 206.3 passing yards per game, 51 tackles for loss, 23 sacks, 11 interceptions, in which they forced a few on Josh Hoover last week. 4 fumbles, 42 pass breakups, 31 quarterback hurries, 56 for 161 on third down, 11 for 22 on fourth down. But they have blocked 3 kicks this year. 28 minutes, 38 seconds on the time possession. Right, they run like a 4-2-5 defense. 2 deep / 3 deep on the defensive line, weighs 279.54 pounds. And you could look in particular at 3 deep for the nose tackle, it's just defensive tackle. And 2 or 3 deep on the defensive end / jack linebacker spot. Now, the best guy, they do have 2 guys with 72 tackles apiece. And that's the first one is Carlos Allen, the junior. Number 5, 6'1", 295-pound defensive lineman as a senior. 72 tackles, 29 solos, 7 tackles for loss, 1 pass breakup, 1 sack, 2 pass breakups, and forced 1 fumble. There's Jalen Gardner, number 36, 6'1", 225-pound linebacker as a senior. 72 tackles, 35 solo, 3.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 1 pass breakup, 7 quarterback hurries, and forced 2 fumbles. There's Kentrell Webb, number 8, 5'11", 185-pound DB. That's a junior. 59 tackles, 40 solo, 2 tackles for loss, 1 interception, 3 pass breakups, and forced 1 fumble. There's Eddie Walls III, number 90, 6'4", 250-pound defensive lineman as a senior. 53 tackles, 25 solo, 9 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks, 9 quarterback hurries, 5 pass breakups. There's Sion Fotu, number 12, 6 foot, 226-pound linebacker that is a junior. 51 tackles, 22 solo, 0.5 tackles for loss, 0.5 sacks, 1 quarterback hurry, and 1 fumble recovery. There's Jordan Allen, number 6, 5'11", 200-pound defensive back. That's a sophomore. 44 tackles, 31 solo, 0.5 tackles for loss, 0.5 sacks, 2 pass breakups, and 1 fumble recovery. There's Latrell McCutcheon, senior, number 1, 6'1", 185-pound DB. That's a senior. 44 tackles, 32 solo, 2 tackles for loss, 7 pass breakups, 1 fumble recovery, forced 1 fumble, and the block to kick this year. There's Rook Brown, number 24, 5'11", 190-pound defensive back. That is a senior. 42 tackles, half of those are solo, 6 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 2 pass breakups. There's Corey Platt Jr., number 9, 6'2", 215-pound 215-pound linebacker. That is a sophomore. 37 tackles, 18 solo, 5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, 2 quarterback hurries, 1 pass breakup, and forced 1 fumble. There's Khalil Laufau, Laufau. I apologize if I butchered that. Number 18, 6'3", 300-pound defensive lineman. That is a junior. 36 tackles, 15 solo, 1 tackle for loss, 1 sack, 3 quarterback hurries, 1 pass breakup, and forced 1 fumble. There's Latrell Evan McCutcheon, number 10, 6'3", 245-pound linebacker. That is a junior. 35 tackles, 18 solo, 2.5 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 2 interceptions, 3 quarterback hurries, 2 pass breakups, and forced 1 fumble. There's Will James, number 15, 6 foot, 185-pound defensive back. That's a sophomore. 29 tackles, 23 solo, 4 tackles for loss, 3 interceptions. And he had 2 of those last game, by the way. 5 pass breakups, 1 fumble recovery, forced 2 fumbles, and a block to kick this year. There's Brandon Mack II, number 4, 6'4", 245-pound linebacker. That is a junior. 28 tackles, half of those solo, 5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 1 quarterback hurry, and forced 1 fumble. There's Mark Stampley II, number 22, 5'11", 185-pound defensive back. That is a senior. 27 tackles, 14 solo, 2 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 interception, and 3 pass breakups. There's Carmichael Glass, Carmy YCAH. Apologize if I butchered that. Number 25. 6'4" 230-pound linebacker that is a sophomore, 26 tackles, 13, half of those are solo. 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 3 quarterback hurries, 1 pass breakup, and forced 1 fumble. There's Zelmar Vetter, number 21. 6'3", 195-pound defensive back. That is a senior, 19 tackles, 13 solo, 7 pass breakups, and forced 1 fumble. There's Blake Thomas, number 0, 6'1", 195-pound defensive back. That's a senior, 15 tackles, 13 solo, 1 interception, and forced 1 fumble. There's CJ Douglas, number 13, 5'11", 200-pound defensive back. That's a junior, 10 tackles, 6 solo, 1 interception. Might as well just go over like 2 more guys really, and that's really it. And Johnsley Barbus, number 33, 5'11", 185-pound defensive back. That's a sophomore, 8 tackles, 5 of those solo. There's Darius Washington, number 49. 6'6", 265-pound defensive lineman. That's a freshman, 6 tackles, 1 solo. And really, from there, might as well just go over 2 more guys. 3 more defensive linemen. That's really it. And it's Miles Parker, number 98. 6 foot, 335-pound defensive lineman. That is a junior. 4 tackles, 0 solo, block, 1 kick. This is Xavier Tibbs, number 41. 6 foot 1 inch, 275-pound defensive lineman. That is a junior. 14 tackles, 3/4 of those are solo, and 1 quarterback hurry. And the last one is really Travis Buhake, number 92, 6 foot 2 inch, 265-pound defensive lineman. That's a freshman. 4 tackles, 1 of those solo. Now I know they have like one that's questionable, but still, I'm not gonna go over that. Okay, special teams wise, their most commonly used kicker is Ethan Sanchez, number 92, 5'9", 192-pound kicker. That's a senior. 34 for 34 on extra points, 19 for 24 on field goals, like 6 for 6 on 20 to 29 yards, 3 for 4 on 30 to 39 yards, 9 for 12 on 40 to 49 yards, and 1 for 2 on more than 50 yards, and long is 52. Now there's Liam Daugherty, that's their starting punter, number 91, 6 foot 2 inch, 205 pounds. That's a sophomore, 47 punts for 114 yards. The long, 60 yards, average 45 yards, 17 of those landed inside the 20-yard line, 16 of those went over 50 yards. Obviously, whatever you did right last game, you got to bring in this game. Whatever you did wrong last game, you got to correct for this game. And you got to come out desperate for this game. It's your senior day in the last home game of the year. And do it for the seniors. And I expect Houston wanting revenge after last year's game. And we ended their bowl hopes. Now they want to end our bowl hopes. I'm sure of it. Yes, Houston has improved, but they are kind of flawed despite being 8-3. Because when you look at the yards they've given up against TCU, TCU just committed way too many penalties. And turnovers as well. That's why Houston stuck around for that game. But still, you get the whole point here and all this. Now, across the board, you got to limit your penalties as much as possible. You can't have, stupid ones after the fact, like unsportsmanlike conduct or throwing a punch. You got to keep your calm and cool composure. And I know there might be some questionable calls in this game potentially, but you got to be the more mentally tougher team and make plays to win. You got to make adjustments on the fly, both offensively and defensively. I'm not just saying from first half to second half, but during those quarters as well. And you got to be better in the second half than you were last game. That's obvious. That's just telling the truth on both sides of the ball. Special teams wise, you got to make your field goals count on the last game. Obviously, you got to have good punts. Don't allow big returns to happen, whether it's on the kickoff or a punt. You obviously don't want to have block kicks, and obviously if you do all that, have all that happen, that would really help yourself on special teams wise, because hitting yardage does matter in this game. It does in football. It does. Defensively, you need to try to make them one-dimensional and try to take away those top 2 pass catchers at all times and make somebody else beat you and obviously shut down the run game a little bit. And you might spy on the quarterback on this game because they will use him to run the ball, and he might just take off and run at times. So I'm just telling the truth. We're going to have to be really good on run defense. And the pass defense needs to step up, especially against those key players. And forcing some turnovers would really help, like you did against Arizona. And not only that, create havoc plays, get in behind the chains, be good on third down defense, be good in red zone defense. Got to be good on fourth down defense, unlike the last game. Just telling the truth. Now, offensively, you got to be better than you were the last few weeks, especially in the second half against Arizona. You can't just go 0-4. You have no points on the board and expect to win the game. You got to stay ahead of the chains. You got to limit those negative plays. You got to make contested catches. You got to protect the football. You got to have the run game going and stop. Like, try to help Sawyer out. I mean, it's just telling the truth. You got to have your offensive line step up and, like, as well, like, not just in run blocking, pass blocking. Got to be good in the red zone. You got to be good on your third down offensively and even fourth down if you do go for it. I'm just saying. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens, and you got to come out desperate for this game, guys, because this is your last shot to make it a bowl game. And you try to take the crowd away from Houston in this game as much as possible, while trying to get your fans involved by making positive plays. And you got to be consistent across the board. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in this game. Nothing will shock me. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like, subscribe, and see you guys later on the road to 800 subscribers. Goals, ultimate goal is 1,000 more. So my money does, of course, like video, comment video really helps YouTube background. So more people see it. Sharing the video does help as well, so more people can watch. And if you're watching and not subscribe, hit subscribe button for the notification bell as well.